This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter. Welcome to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, June the 22nd, is an icon and a great. His story is like a Disney movie about perseverance and basically not giving up and basically dealing with people of different cultures and basically finding a wife who had two children and all that, and basically going through adversity, helping out with stuff. Yes, that's Kurt Warner for you. Kurt Warner is 50 years old today. It's amazing. All that. He played in the NFL for 12 years for the Rams, the Giants, and the Cardinals. He ascended from an undrafted free agent to a two-time MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Is one of the greatest stories in NFL history. A Cinderella story. He played college football at Northern Iowa from 90 to 93. He would spend 4 years without being named to an NFL roster. Green Bay signed him in 94, but he was released before the regular season and went to the Arena Football League. Warner would be part of a roster with the Rams in 98. He was the backup before he was made starter the next season. During his first season as a starting quarterback, he led the Greatest Show on Turf offense, which had Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt, among others, to the Rams' first Super Bowl title as a franchise in Super Bowl 34, earning him league and Super Bowl MVP honors. He would win a second MVP award in 2001, en route to appearance in Super Bowl 36, and also was in Super Bowl 43 with the Cardinals. He's basically called the greatest undrafted player in NFL history. He's the only undrafted player to be named NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP, and basically the only undrafted quarterback to lead his team to Super Bowl victory. And he's also the first quarterback to win the Super Bowl in his first season as the primary starter. He's in the Hall of Fame since 2017. So basically, Warner was not high on the depth charts at Northern Iowa until his senior year, and he basically was the conference's player of the year. Following his college career, he was undrafted in 94. He was actually invited to try out for the Packers, but was released before the regular season began. Warner was in a tight spot because there were two good quarterback spots with four quarterbacks. He was competing with the great Brett Favre, of course, but he also had to deal with Mark Brunell and Ty Detmer, looking for being the backup and all that. And it wasn't easy. I believe that Brunell was the backup, or was it Detmer? I don't know who Favre's backup was. Well, Mark Brunell would soon find a job with another team as Jacksonville, the expansion Jaguars, I think, took him in the expansion draft, and Brunell basically helped Jacksonville do well for many years, including those massive upsets in the 96-97 playoffs over the the Bills and the Broncos, especially the Broncos one. Ty Detmer would basically be a great Heisman Trophy winner, but the kiss of death. He was not a good NFL player. After his release, Warner actually stocked shelves at the Hy-Vee grocery store in Cedar Falls for $5.50 an hour. Basically, Warner would be part of the night crew and would basically, if there was food on the floor, they basically would take it and all that and eat it and all that. So basically, yeah, it wasn't a smart job, but anyway, it was cool. Warner actually cited this as the starting point where his stardom happened. Basically, while he was at Hy-Vee, he had a deep dedication to Christianity around 97. So he returned to Northern Iowa and was a graduate assistant coach with the football team. No NFL teams would give him a chance, but Warner heard about the Arena Football League giving him a chance, and there was a squad in Iowa, so he signed with the Iowa Barnstormers. He was basically a first-team All-Arena player in 96 and 97, leading the Barnstormers to Arena Bowl appearances in both seasons. He was actually named 12th as the best arena football players of all time. Before the 97 Arena Football League season, Warner had a tryout with the Bears, but there was an injury to his throwing elbow because he got a spider bite during his honeymoon. The Arena Football League actually commemorated Warner's death by making him the namesake of their PlayStation game, Kurt Warner's Arena Football Unleashed. This wouldn't be the last Arena Football League game on video game consoles, as 2006 2007 they released games on PS2. I should know. I bought those. But anyway, the arena, you could tell there's arena football and all that. Half as many players on a field. Field goals go back into play if they miss the goalpost. There's no such thing as punting. Basically, it was kind of compared to NFL Blitz 2000. Basically, it got low reviews because of how close it was to NFL Blitz 2000. Anyway, Warner would sign a futures contract with the St. Louis Rams. In 1988, he was told to go to Europe to play for Amsterdam to warm himself up, and he would help Amsterdam do well. He led the league in passing yards and touchdowns, pretty good. His backup was actually Jake Delhomme, who was Carolina's quarterback in the Super Bowl 2004. Returning to the United States, Warner was actually the third string for the Rams behind Tony Banks and Steve Bono. Not Aki Bono, not Sonny Bono, Steve Bono. He was 4 for 11 for 39 yards, not a good quarterback rating, but basically, yeah. St. Louis really sucked. They were 4-12, and they had two really unknown quarterbacks at that time. So basically, the Rams said that Warner could be unprotected in the 1999 expansion draft. But Cleveland did not pick him up. They didn't pick any Rams and would only make one quarterback selection, Scott Milanovich, basically banking on Ty Detmer and Tim Couch to help him out. Steve Bono left in free agency and would sign Trent Green to be the starter and all that. Banks would be traded to the Ravens, and Warner was now the backup, which is amazing and all that. However, in the preseason, between the Charger game at the what they called the TWA Dome at that time, Ronnie Harrison made a low hit on Trent Green, who suffered torn ACL in the preseason. So basically, Warner is what named the starter. And Vermeil said in an emotional press conference, "We will rally around Kurt Warner and we'll play good football." Amazingly, they did. With the support of Marshall Falk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Az Hakim, and Ricky Prohl, Warner put together one of the best NFL quarterback seasons ever. 4,300 plus yards, 41 touchdowns, and a completion rate of 65%. The high-power offense run by offensive coordinator Mike Martz was the greatest show on turf and got them to score 500 points in the season for the first time for 3 years. So 500 points with 16 games being played. Well, now 17 thanks to the freaking new system. I don't like this one bit. You would have to score 30 points a game. Every game would be 480 points. So you would have to score probably like 32. Warner was amazing. One of the key games in his rookie campaign was the 4th game of the season against the San Francisco 49ers, who were the NFC West champs for a long time. And the Rams had not beaten the Niners in 17 attempts. However, Warner would throw a touchdown pass in each of the first 3 possessions in the game, having the Rams win 42-20. He got 5 touchdown passes, making it 14 in 4 games, and the Rams were 4-0. Sports Illustrated actually featured him on their cover, saying, "Who is this guy?" And basically, he was named the 99 NFL MVP, mostly because he led the Rams to their first playoff berth in 11 years, since 1989, and the first division title since 1985. Warner would basically help the team in the playoffs, although he could have screwed up against the Tampa Bay Bucks, who had a great defense. The final score of the NFC Championship game was 11-6, and the only touchdown of the game was a touchdown pass by Kurt Warner to Ricky Prohl, who basically was not much of a receiver when it comes to touchdowns. Warner would help the Rams take a big win in Super Bowl 34 against the Titans, as the Titans were so close to winning it. He would throw for 2 touchdowns and a fan Super Bowl record of 414 passing yards. He actually attempted 45 passes without a single interception. That was a record. Warner is the last person to be the NFL MVP and Super Bowl MVP in the same year, which was amazing. So basically, Warner would be given a 7-year, $47 million contract. And he did pretty well. He basically kept going from his 99 season. However, he would break his hand and basically, Trent Green filled in, and basically he did pretty well. The Rams would go to the wildcard round against the New Orleans Saints and shockingly lose to the Saints in New Orleans. The Rams would cut 9 of their 11 defensive starters during the offseason because of this disappointing season, and Trent Green was traded to Kansas City. However, the 0-1-02 season, Warner returned to his form. While he didn't have any injuries and all that, he still threw 36 touchdown passes and over 4,800 yards. Unfortunately, he would throw 22 interceptions that year. Not good. But the Rams got to be 6-0 for the 3rd straight year, becoming the first team to do so. The Rams were 14-2 and crushed the New England Patriots in New England. But anyway, they got to the Super Bowl easily and all that. Warner was named the NFL MVP and all that. He won it twice. Marshall Faulk won in 2000. So 3 straight years that Ram had won the title. MVP. Warner would throw for 365 yards, the 6th highest total nowadays. It was 2nd highest. And a passing touchdown alongside a rushing touchdown. However, New England's defensive game plan disrupted his rhythm, and he threw 2 bad passes. However, the Rams, even though they were down 17-3, would tie the game 17-17 thanks to Warner's touchdown pass to Ricky Prohl. Sadly, though, Adam Vinatieri scored in the last few seconds, giving the Patriots the first of their 3 titles in 4 years. And yes, I was cheering for the Rams at that point because I thought the Rams were unbeatable. So as we were right. Basically, I turned to become a Pats fan, and basically I've not looked back ever since. Unfortunately, the 2002-03 season was not good for Warner as the team really faltered. Warner would not be doing good and all that. In the 2003 season, he was replaced as the starting quarterback for good after fumbling 6 times against the Giants. He broke his hand, but it was never fully healed. So basically, Mark Balger was made to be the starter for the Rams and all that. And the Rams signed Chris Chandler to be the backup for Balger. Warner's days were done. He was basically done for and was released. 2 days after being released, he signed a 1-year deal with the New York Giants. He would start the 04 season as the Giants starting quarterback, doing pretty well. He was 5-2, but after losing 2 straight games after that to make 5-4, the Giants decided enough was enough, and they would take their draft choice, Eli Manning, and make him the starter and all that. But Eli was not ready for prime time as the Giants were 1-6 after Warner's benching. Warner decided to become a free agent. I guess he was angry over the Giants benching him. So anyway, he would sign a 1-year contract with the Arizona Cardinals and was named the starter. Warner did okay, but he injured his groin and was replaced by Josh McCown. After McCown struggled, Warner was back being the starting lineup. All that. He would partially tear his MCL in the 2005 season. He would sign a 3-year extension with the Cardinals in 2006 and do decently. However, Matt Leinart replaced him as quarterback and all that. And basically, Warner was pretty much a backup and all that. Arizona had a lot of faith in Leinart and all that. But Warner came back, replacing Leinart and all that. So basically, he was basically going to be the backup to Leinart in 2008. However, Ken Wisenhunt, the new Cardinals coach, said that basically Warner should be the starter. And Warner had a good season for once. 4,500 plus yards, 30 touchdowns, and a completion percentage of 67%. He did pretty well for himself. Warner will lead the Cardinals to a big win over the Rams, securing the Cardinals the NFC West and their first playoff berth in 10 years at that time. And it was the Cardinals' first division title since '75. And the Cardinals franchise would have a home playoff game, only the second ever. He looked good. The first round of the playoffs saw Warner take on Atlanta in a wild card match. It was a chippy affair, but the Cardinals beat the Falcons 30-24. It was the first time the Cardinals won a postseason home game since the '47 NFL championship game. Warner would help the Cardinals take care of Carolina in the divisional round, 33-13. The Cardinals had not won a game on the East Coast the entire season, which was weird. And then Warner at home would help the Cardinals beat the Eagles to get to their first Super Bowl appearance in history, thus becoming one of 4 quarterbacks to make Super Bowl starts with 2 teams, alongside Craig Morton for Dallas/Denver, Peyton Manning, who did it for Indy and Denver, and Tom Brady, who did it for Pats and Bucks. However, the Cardinals would lose Super Bowl 43, 27-23. It wasn't Warner's fault. He did pretty good for himself. But Pittsburgh just had enough time on the clock. There were rumors that Warner was going to head to San Francisco on a free agency deal, but the Cardinals signed him. Warner would go through hip surgery in 2009, but be back in time for the year. He did very good at all that. He helped the Cardinals win the 2010-11 postseason match against Green Bay, which was one of the best ever at 51-45. So that was the last playoff game with him being the starting quarterback. He was 7-0 in home contest in the postseason. That's amazing and all that. Unfortunately, Warner got injured and all that against the Saints in the divisional round. Warner basically retired in 2010, said he was looking forward to being a father to his 7 kids. Oh my God, I can't believe that, 7 kids. When I read the Kurt Warner autobiography that Bill Lang allowed me to read, he had 3 kids, now 4 extra ones. He wants to spend time with his wife. He said he basically had a lot of impact, influence, thanks to God and all that. He was eligible for induction in the Hall of Fame for the 2014 season. And Warner admitted that he was considering coming out of retirement to help the Cardinals out over the fact they lost Carson Palmer and Drew Stanton to injuries. But no, he stayed where he was. He got into the Pro Hall of Fame in 2017. All that. So yeah, he has had a great time and all that. Career statistics and all that, helping you and I decently when he was the starter. In the Arena League in NFL Europe, he was combined 30-10, which is pretty good. He would play 124 games in his career. As a starter, he was 67-49. Not bad. It could have been better. All that. Weird how after 2001, that 14-2 season, he would be 0-7 in his next 2 seasons due to injury. And all that. 208 touchdown passes, 128 interceptions, and 32,000 plus passing yards. In the postseason, it was 9-4, not bad. And all that. Passing 3,952 yards, 31 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3 Super Bowls. He would actually be the first quarterback to throw for more than 400 yards in a Super Bowl. It was the most until Tom Brady surpassed it in Super Bowl 51 in 2017. That's amazing. He had the record for so long. He has the most touchdown passes in a single postseason with 11, tied with Joe Montana and Joe Flacco. Let's see. First quarterback to throw 40 touchdowns and win a Super Bowl in the same season until Tom Brady did that in Super Bowl 55. Most wins in the NFC Championship game without a loss. 3-0, 99, 01, and 08. Yep, some kind of records. Kurt Warner actually was, as he said, basically fat and not athletic and all that. Because, well, his parents divorced when he was 6. All that. Kurt's father would remarry a year later, and Warner's stepmother had a son named Matt. And they had a nice relationship with one another. Warner would graduate from UNI with a degree in business communications. During college, he would meet his future wife Brenda and married her October 1997. Brenda was a former U.S. Marine Corps corporal. She was divorced with 2 children. One of them, Zach, who was brain damaged and blind after being dropped by her ex-husband, leading to her hardship discharge from the Marines in 1990. And as people said, Warner was cut from the Packers training camp in 94. He got a job working the night shift as a sub clerk at a Hy-Vee and all that. He was assistant coach in Northern Iowa, but the couple were living in Brenda's parents' basement in Cedar Falls. And Brenda's parents would actually be killed in 96 when their Mountain View, Arkansas home was destroyed by a tornado. And, they got married, all that. So Brenda had 2 kids from her previous relationship and then 5 more after that. So it's amazing. His Christian faith is huge. They're evangelical Christians. I can't say that word for the life of me. Basically, his faith emerged on the national stage after the Super Bowl victory. Mike Tirico from ABC says, Kurt, first things first, tell me about the final touchdown pass to Isaac. And by Kurt said, well, first things first, I got to thank my Lord and Savior up above. Thank you, Jesus. And Terry Bradshaw from Fox, when the Cardinals got to the Super Bowl, said, Kurt, you're not going to like this, but you're the 3rd oldest quarterback to ever play in the Super Bowl. How does that make you feel? And Kurt said, everyone's going to be tired of hearing this, but I never get tired of saying it. There's one reason why I'm up on the stage today. That's because of my Lord up above. I've got to say thanks to Jesus. You knew I was going to do it, but I've got to do it. And secondly, I've got to say thanks to you guys, the Arizona fans. And where nobody believed in us, you believed in us. He would usually attend charismatic churches and said God healed him from a concussion in 2000. Saying he's just a Christian. So he would help NFL Total Access for many years and all that. He was made the full-time radio analyst in 2018 for Westwood One. So yeah. He was in Dancing with the Stars in 2010, but they were eliminated in week 8. Kurt Warner would be the main people, part of the Kurt Warner's Good Sports Gang. Warner would be the coach of a group of animated sports balls and would have religious faith and moral values. And he's the focus for a movie called American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story. It said it was supposed to be released December 2020, but I guess it's December 2021. So yeah, I gotta go see that one. I hope. So anyway, he did a lot of public service announcements for Civitan International, which is volunteer efforts about the developmentally disabled. It's personally close to Warner because Zach, his adopted son from Brenda's first marriage, suffered brain damage as an infant when his father dropped him accidentally. Of course, he devoted time and money to First Things First Foundation of Christian Athletes. He was named Walter Payton Yearly Award 2008 for his stuff. So, yeah, you can't blame him for that. So, anyway, Kurt Warner is an icon and, a true underdog story. Man, I wish I was like him too, in a sense. But, I'm not athletically gifted. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.